So,
That's a
so
terrible angle.
it
They're
is.
gonna profit somewhere, profit here. Right back here. It's a bad angle.
It is.
Yes, it's a bad angle. It's all like
Okay.
down here.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to catch you in the frame.
It'll catch me in the frame up here.
Okay. Well, hang on a second.
Make up your mind.
Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see.
Let's see.
We'll get this on there. See?
But that's still a bad angle. That's not.
Okay. Well, let's do it this way.
I'm only halfway in that. That's really close. You're not even in it.
Oh. Well, see, that's why I was. Okay. Here.
I don't know how long it's gonna stay up there.
On me. Okay, we'll do it. So is it running?
It's been going for 2 minutes.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about the other day when you found me bleeding profusely in the bed. How did that affect you? Did it scare you to death?
I mean, not to death. I'm still here, but it scared me.
Yeah.
But that's something that I have to deal with on my own.
Well, see, that's why I wanted to. So, because I wanted you to talk about it because, you know, I mean, suppressing those kind of feelings.
I'm not suppressing them. I cope with them in my own way, in a healthy way.
Okay.
I'm just not necessarily that person that talks about my feelings when I don't find a reason to talk about them. Like, yeah, what happened when I found you was traumatic, and it's something that
Yes.
nobody should really go through. But it's also, it's something that you couldn't help. So like me
Right.
being traumatized from a situation that nobody could have helped, you know,
Yeah.
it's really hard to just like talk about that out loud. It's something that I have to talk about and figure out like in my own space, in my own mind's headspace.
Yeah.
I'm starting to do like yoga now, and I do more meditation because you know, I think it's really good for me to kind of step away from the, I don't know, I guess like the outside world, and to kind of,
To go inward.
yeah, to go inward deeper
Yes.
more. But you know, I'm not gonna say that it wasn't scary seeing you like that, but
Yeah.
you know, luckily I know enough about seizures to have, because I could have been totally uneducated, but since my mom has epilepsy, and you know, I've been through, basically it was the same thing that happened with her that happened
Yeah.
with you, and you know, they were both super scary. I mean, having, you know, people like to think that they've accepted the thought of death, but until it's like they're staring you right in your face, like
Right.
for a second I like thought you were like actually dead, because the way you
See?
looked, it just looked like you were. But you don't really know that feeling until it's staring you right in your face, and you know you.
Yeah.
Um,
And see, and that's why I was so concerned because so you know, so like sometime back, you know, remember when I had woke up and I had those tremors, like I was unstable on my feet and I was throwing up, and you had to call the emergency paramedics, and I I didn't give it much thought then, but I was starting to think that maybe you were scared so much that you may be considering a way to step aside to relieve yourself of such trauma if it happens. Because, I talk about death all the time. I talk about when I pass away, this is what I want you to do, this is what so 'cause I'm closer to death than, than you realize. But what I'm trying to say is that remember when I first had that first episode and you called the ambulance, and then like a couple of days later you spoke about that you wanted to go to another place like Virginia or somewhere. And
to Oregon?
To Oregon, because you wanted to go to the trees and, and...
Oh, so
also,
you're thinking that I wanted to
you
move away
in subconsciously, you're trying...
I mean, subconsciously, that's totally a possibility.
See, and because you just... You just did not want to have to be the one to find me dead, basically, because because you've experienced death, so in your own way. And so when you spoke to me about that, and I was like, so I'm just wondering if my sickness is just too much for her, or if my conditions or my what do you call it,
health issues,
my health issues, and the inevitability, because I am getting older and I do have health issues, if that's just too much for you to deal with at your young, tender age.
So one thing that you have to understand is that as much as that worries you about me moving away because, I'm scared of you, passing away and your health issues, causing that or whatever, you have to understand that I'm in charge of when I say that's enough. Like, I will tell you when this is too overwhelming. I didn't know, or I'm not gonna say I wasn't aware. Like, I'm aware that everybody dies. That's gonna happen, 100%
right.
certain.
Mm-hmm.
But was I aware that it was gonna get this difficult? I never processed that really.
Right.
I never really thought about it that deeply. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go live in Austin with my Nana. That's gonna be fun. It was never like, I'm gonna go live in Austin with my Nana and then watch her get closer and closer to death because of her health issues. I never thought about it that way.
Right.
But I am super self-aware, and I know when I'm getting too overwhelmed in a situation. And when I did find you like that, it was very overwhelming for me, and I had to figure out a way to cope with that image. Like, I'm gonna be that image of you like that is gonna be in my head forever, and I have to be able to deal with that. But the thing about me wanting to move away, it wasn't subconsciously. Yes, my subconscious was probably trying to protect me, and but in no way was I trying to hurt you in that type of way. And you might not even think that way, but
right, because see, the thing is, you brought it up again the other day, that you said Emma was going to submit her college app, and that if she gets accepted, that she may want you as a roommate.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I was processing. I didn't think of it
Yeah.
really until, but I know that I'm more in tune with you than you think,
Okay.
because I know that it was a scary thing, you know, for you to see me that way.
Yeah.
You know, it is a high stress, you know, because you've seen it before. You've seen your mom go through, you know, seizures. You know, you've had loss in your family, and, you know, and so it's something that can really hit you in the face,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah, it's definitely like you think you're prepared for those moments, but once you're in that situation, everything you know about that, it kind of just like, unless you have a fight or flight, like I chose to fight, I chose to stay there and fight. I could have totally just like called 911 and left you how you were, but I turned into fight or flight mode, and
right.
but yeah,
And
you don't know those situations
until you
in them. Yeah. But in no way do I, when I say I want to like move away, it's me only looking at like what's my future going to be like outside of you, because you have to think like where I'm living at is like, I mean, yes, we share the house or whatever, and like it's our house, but it's technically it's your house and I'm living there, and I have to think about, okay, once Nana passes away, what is my future going to be like? Because I can't just stay in this apartment after she's passed away or whatever. Like, I have to figure out what else to do. But, you know, it's in no way like me saying, yeah, I'm going to like, this is too much of her health issues and all this stuff, because I know you're a grown woman, and you are just as hard-headed as I am. And you know you're going to take care of yourself until you absolutely cannot. And I feel like I'm very good at, you know, staying back and being there when you say you need me. But until you say you need me, then you know I'm gonna stay back and let you do your thing, because you know you're a grown woman and you know you have your own life. But in no way do I like. If it does get overwhelming, that's something that I have to, figure out on my own. I have to cope with myself. Because I'm an adult, and, you know, I don't have anybody to tell me, hey, Shaleigh, you're getting too overwhelmed. You need to take a step back. I have to notice when I'm getting too deeply into stuff or too overwhelmed into stuff, and I have to take a step back for myself, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is Priscilla here?
I don't think so. Yeah, we're gonna pause this.
Oh, wait. So I didn't really look at it, you know, the way you're looking at it, as though you don't want to be with your Nana forever. You got a life to live, right?
Yeah.
So to plan your life and to be free, you know, it's just a natural thing for, you know, 21-year-old, you know, just leaving home. You are 21, right?
Turning 21.
21, yeah. So yeah, I didn't think of it that way, to give it that perspective, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I guess I just always expected you to be there.
Yeah, no, it's because that's such a comfortable way to think. Like for me as well, I just think, oh, I'm always gonna have my Nana to fall back on. Like she's always just gonna be there. Like I don't have to think too far in the future, because you know I'm gonna have a fallback plan, or I'm gonna have a comfortable spot, a comfortable setting. I have my own room set up. Like it's just easy to just think like it's gonna be easy. But you know, it's also your anxiety catches up to you, and then you're just like,
sometimes
it's not
real
like that.
life
Yeah,
you.
reality, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Because you know, eventually you're gonna pass on, and hopefully that's years and years and years in the future.
Yeah.
But I have to start thinking about possibility.
You.
Yeah, me, of course, yeah.
Yeah, you. And also too, when you mentioned, what was it the other day? You mentioned Clive, and if I was gonna tell him what happened.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe her concern is that maybe I should tell him, because it would be like a backup plan. Everything's not on your shoulders.
And yeah, you also have to see from my perspective.
Yes.
I'm technically
You're the kid in this
family.
situation.
Yeah, immediate family. Like, I'm the only one that knows about your surgery and what happened. And
Right.
I just thought you had told, Clive and your son.
Yeah.
But it definitely felt like there was a big weight on my shoulders, because I'm the one that's gonna have to, if
Deal
you
with-
have a seizure again, I have to get you to the hospital, or I have to figure out what to do from there. And that at
That's a
that
lot of
point,
stress.
that's a lot of stress for almost 21-year-old
Yes.
young woman. And
And I
there
didn't
was.
realize that.
And I had to step back, and I had to realize, like, I was harboring anger because of that. I was just like, there was a little point after everything happened, and I realized you hadn't told them, or I was like kind of angry, because I was like, I'm sure you're not aware of this, but like, she's putting a lot of stress on me as well, because like,
Exactly.
I wasn't aware that I was getting into, you having a seizure condition, and that possibly happening again. And that's like scary to think about, because
Yeah.
now, like, every time you move in your room, I'm like listening close, trying to make sure like you didn't
Right.
fall out or anything. And that's just something that ever since my mom, she got diagnosed with epilepsy, every time she was in the shower, that was just something I listened for. I would just listen for her, make sure she didn't fall out in the shower. It was just, it's something that, I have anxiety, so I have to be anxious about. But yeah, it was a lot of stress that, I'm sure you weren't aware that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I was able to tune in to your questions and to figure out where these questions were coming from.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to be totally responsible for me.
Yeah.
I have a son. Even though we're in bad terms, I have a son. I have a husband. Even though we're in, bad terms, and it's just because of our communication skills that it's an impediment in them knowing certain things about me. But I should let that go and go ahead and let it be known to them that these are things that I've done and things I've experienced, conditions I've experienced.
And you know what I think that is? I think it's your self-conscious trying to protect you. You didn't want to tell them something that's very important. You didn't want to tell some of your closest family members that you were having this surgery. And I think it was you wanting to do everything on your own, because we're both two hard-headed women, and I definitely think that you have that mindset of, I'm just gonna figure it out on my own, like, I'll be fine by myself, I don't really need their support. And that's a part of just like trauma, like you're
right, exactly.
You don't want to put down that wall, and you want to protect yourself, because every time you let down that wall, you're hurt in the process.
Right, exactly.
And that's something that you have to figure out, like you have
Work
to
it through.
fix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're hurting yourself. Like, you're keeping yourself away from these experiences and these feelings. Like, I do it so much. Like, I have my cosmetology license, but I don't use it because I'm so scared to mess up somebody's hair or mess up somebody's whatever,
Right.
and I'm like hurting myself in the process because I'm keeping myself away from these experiences that I could be having, but I'm too
Yes.
scared. I'm letting fear control all of it.
Yes.
And that's something that I have to work through and fix on my own. And
Yeah, that's
it's time.
it does, and and I'm so glad that we've had this conversation because it's enlightened me. Because I do get that sense that even though you're in the room and there and and I can hear you laughing, but I'm in tune to that you are scared. When is the next time? When is the next time I'm going to have to deal with a medical issue of hers? And so, and I can feel that you are walking on eggshells sometimes. If I say, oh my God, it's like, what is it? Just like a while ago. You still, how are you feeling? You still want to go to Salvation Army?
Yeah.
I got overexhausted in the shower, and you just immediately okay, are you going to be still okay to go to Salvation Army? And so we're very sensitive people. We're both empaths. And we know when we need to jump in and
I feel like we are
proactive.
we're really good at reading each other's energy. As much as I don't want to admit, like I do get upset about a lot of things, and I don't tell people about it. But you're able to read my energy and like realize that I'm in a mood or something. And I don't know. I feel like we're really good at giving each other space and being there when sometimes we don't want that much space.
So, wow. This has been very Car Chronicles.
Yep.
So if this is anything that you guys like or can relate to between a grandparent and a granddaughter, our energies. If you feel need to talk to somebody, if you like it, subscribe, leave a comment on what your thoughts are. How open are you with your grandchild or grandparent? How do you guys communicate? What's your communication style? So, but anyway, until next time, peace.